Tap it twice, do it twice. Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing with Kirol, Attentive first year. This vampire cleric doubles your triggered abilities from any source. All you need to do is tap 2 creatures, and you can only do this once per turn. But that does mean that you can do it on your turn to, say, double up the ability of an enter to the battlefield, or maybe even a saga, and then do it on your opponent's turn by playing things with Flash. Kirol is also able to double things that trigger at the start of turn when you go to combat or at end step. It doesn't matter what it is, if it is a triggered ability, you can double it with Kirol, which means that this deck sure has a lot of blink things because enter the battlefields tend to be pretty good, but it also has a bunch of different types of triggers, especially ones that all work nicely together, so you can blink things, get more value, go wider, tap more things, maybe gain some life, destroy your opponent's lands, make a bunch of cards, put the cards into your hand, and of course just kill your opponent with some burn, like with Flage and the Overlord. This deck is very fun because it's doing all the things that Boros can do, but twice. So let's take Kirol into the queue and see what they can tap to get us even more value. Tasigur, the Golden Fang, typically mills himself and sacrifices lots of lands, filling up the graveyard so you can cast him for like 1 mana. And then, well, you can sacrifice him in order to get something bigger. Or you could just use him for value and additional self-mill. It really depends a lot on the Tasigur deck. Some Tasigurs are very focused on the sacrifice Tasigur. Some of them are just kind of generic Sultai value. It's a 1 mana 4/5. Undercity Sewers on my end step. They surveil a... Oh, Scholar of the Lost Trove. Okay, so with Scholar of the Lost Trove, you can do like the pod into another pod. That does tell me, though, that it is almost certainly a pod deck. I have to decide what I want to name. I'm going to name Human. Again, Commander's not a human, but Human. Dinosaur. Doggy. Growth Spiral, I'm actually going to throw out Felia right now while they're tapped out. I think counter spells are a little more likely than kill spells from them, but who knows? Is it a Fatal Push? Nope, Brainstorm. So now they actually can just cast Tasigur for like 1 or 2 mana this next turn. Since they put this in the graveyard, they may also have a reanimation spell. Who knows? Yeah, nice. Another fetch. They didn't go for Tasigur. Why didn't you go for Tasigur? Able the Mirror Breaker. Do you think it's Nashi? I think it's gonna be Nashi. I think Alchemy Nashi. 4 mana. Flash. Yeah. Unfortunately, not much I can do about that. Why does he have Flash? Well, we've talked about this before, though, like why he actually does have Flash. And it pretty much comes down to somebody who is not usually a Brawl player played Brawl. People tried to copy him. They also don't play Brawl. They played Nashi really badly. And they were like, oh, we gotta buff him. People aren't getting what they feel from their card they crafted. They didn't do that with any other cards. So they made a copy of some card in their graveyard, except it has Flash, which the only thing that would make a difference for it would be Scholar of the Lost Troves. Here comes Tasigur, Deathrite Shaman. I will discard Carnosaur and Novice Inspector. Well, I have a chance at playing Carnosaur this turn. But it probably won't resolve. But it would make me so happy if it did. Yeah, this just doesn't feel like it's going to be the Anam Pakal kind of game right here. Don't mind me. Just looking for treasures. I got it, so I'll try to do it. Not that they can't just replay them for dirt cheap. Yeah, matchmaking has been very all over the place with this set's release. It feels like... It feels like whenever they try to mess around with things, it always makes them more chaotic. So Death Right Shaman, easily able to take this out. So they can take that out of my graveyard next turn. Okay, so the card they got back from their graveyard was Growth Spiral. Tasigur costs 2 more. They have 3 cards in the graveyard. Yeah, I am happy to offer my services before a set comes out to give approximate matchmaking for each commander. I feel like I usually have a pretty good feel on how strong a commander is going to be, just from, like, historic knowledge of the format. But there's just so many cards coming out. It doesn't matter. I got time. Hey, Tasigur. Again, they're still leaving this in the graveyard. Nope, don't need to double that. Don't need to double that. So I can go for the Overlord and double that or the Carnosaur. I'm going for Overlord. Get him! Double it! Now, I would hit Nashi, but he's got Ward 2. He's just so untouchable. You give him Flash. Get rid of the Ward. Now, my hope is that I can Reflection of Kiki Jiki, the Overlord of the Boiler Bilges. That would be so strong. Triggers on Enter, triggers on Attack. Necromancy. Okay. Necromancy on Scholar of the Lost Trove. But there are no instants or sorceries in their graveyard. Oh, there's the pod. Eldritch Evolution to turn that into... I've seen Toxtril before, but Toxtril's also at 7. So they were going for 8, which is Grizzlebrand. Grizzlebrand dies to 8 damage, right? Yeah! Yeah! So we boop it. Oh, hold up. Let me drop a Squelcher here. Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. 4 to you, 4 at you. My abilities can still be countered, so I do have to pay the ward. But I gotta double up. Tippity tappity. Here comes the slappity. Burn, baby, burn. And there's still 10 damage coming at their face. They did pay some life. And they are dead to the overlords. GG. Svella, Ice Shaper. Makes icy manaliths, which tap for snow mana. She can also be used to cast spells for free out of your deck. But it costs 8 mana to do it. I've got a turn 1 Novice Inspector. Investigate. Follow the clues so I can snooze. I wonder if this is somebody who is trying to do the, like, winter achievements for Brawl. I thought that those were already done. Or maybe it's just a Svella lover. They're rampant with Utopia Sprawl. I got 4 mana here. I'll be naming human. It's less about making things uncounterable and more about just making it so I can cast the most different spells in my deck.
But we have peace.
And we dodge some removal with a lightning bolt. Go into a Johnny. And the Sun Pearl Kirin puts a Johnny back in my hand. I only have 1 rescue effect in this deck, but I find that having 1, especially one that could potentially draw me a card, has a nice doubleable trigger, is pretty good. If they manage to do a bunch more land ramping, I'll get Claim Jumper, but I don't want to go for it this turn. Because I want to do this turn. I want to double the Johnny tokens. More cats. And swing for 5. Damage-based board wipe would be pretty rough for me. And I know fire magic's going around. Nope, they're ramping. Song of Seasons. Now, I wonder if it's somebody who, like, built Svella for the snow challenge and was like, actually, I kind of love this commander. Because that's real. She's cool. Here's Svella. Gonna double this, tapping you and you. We're gonna search for a plains. We're gonna search for a plains. Doesn't matter. Oh, right, and now I've caught up to them. For some reason, I thought they still had 1 more. So I didn't need to double that. It still would have done it. But that also doesn't really change anything for me. And I'll draw Magda. Magda has a very funny doubleable ability. And she can also be used to tap. Oh, Atali gets Stalwart Realm Warden from me, and... Oh, Ulamog the Defiler from them. Hey, Clet, thank you for the 15-month resub. Yeah, the Ulamog might be tough. 1 sec. Magda. Skyclave. Doubles. Tapping these 2. Hitting Svella. And I got multiple ways now to do this. What do you think? Bolt the face or bolt a cat? We're just gonna go bolt for the face and finish them off. You might have gotten a free Ulamog, but I got Boros stuff. Anafenza, the foremost. The foremost at what? Foremost at putting +1/+1 counters on things. Yeah, that sounds right. She also stops on death abilities for non-tokens, which doesn't stop like a Johnny from flipping most of the time, but does stop a bunch of other stuff. I will bring out my funky little 2/1. Yeah, I feel like this Anafenza, I remember playing her because somebody had requested her. She's a 3-mana 4/4. She buffs things when she attacks. It's gonna be Scales aggro. Veteran Survivor, offer them a trade. They don't take it. There's nothing to exile from graveyards. And I will scry. Oh! A monkey, you say? I don't mind going ape about that. They could saddle this up and it would get a counter on it. Edrin, thank you for the 61-month resub. Do you like this dog? I love this dog. Okay, Shaper's Sanctuary. We'll draw them cards if I target their creatures. Dog. Enhance. Dog. Grows. Dog obliterated. Yep. In I go. See what I steal. Oh my god, I actually stole something useful. Esper Sentinel. Thank you, Ragavan. He's like... Same, dog, same. This is a card in my deck. It's good. It's a really good card. So they don't have black mana, so no Anafenza this turn. Good monkey, for real. Oh, generous doggy. This is such a good new Scales card. I say new. It's from like a year ago. That sounds right. Kirol. A Johnny. Doubling this by tapping you and you. Twice the cats, twice the fun. Sure. This gets bigger if I have 3 things underneath it. Johnny's just glued to the top of the deck. Hey, if he wants to show up, I'm not gonna complain. This is a really good card. Sheesh. Human. Oh, she's a human. You're a goggy. So by putting a counter on this, they'll put a counter on the other things. Johnny's job was to find the students. Oh, yeah. In the Lorwyn story, for some reason, a Johnny is sent by Liliana. There's no real reason I can figure out why that's who they send. Johnny sent by Liliana to find the kids. I guess Liliana was desparked. Wow, I drew 2 cards and neither of them were lands. Okay, that's fine. Land off the top. No problem. Doubling the Esper Sentinel's ability is evil? You mean cool and sexy, right? Maybe you don't. Skyclave Apparition will draw them some cards. Tajik gets me the most damage, but I think I should do this. I'm gonna hit the Shaper's Sanctuary. Tap, tap. Any generous pup. Yeah, so they get to draw off that one. I'll be swinging in with actually just the cats, I guess. Two Esper Sentinels. I'm holding the Cloud Shift so I can blank out some more abilities. Because this is once per turn. It's a brand new turn! See if they target something with Collector's Cage. They do have 3 different powers. But I can make it so they don't have 3 different creatures. Alright, so we're going to blank this ability with Cloud Shift. This will give them another big token. We're going to remove 2 more creatures. And I feel that that is an appropriate concession. Or any of the unwritten. Dragons. That make more dragons. When they enter or attack in, they will be getting dragons. And those dragons work well together, oftentimes killing you in a single or 2 turns with things like Miriam and Terror of the Peaks and all the other terrors that they have. I could go for Voice of Victory, kind of protect myself from spells. I think I really need another land. So I got another land. A Reckless Barbarian. It is a dragon that will get them 2 mana. It is also a dragon that I think I should Lightning Bolt. Just trying to reduce the ramp a little bit. Voice of Victory. That even gives me a trigger to copy next turn. playing Kirol, tapping some stuff, getting in some little guys. Arcane Signet. Oh, they're ramping. Guess I don't have to worry about counter spells if this is alive. Bolt the Barbarian. Sorry, Barb. Kirol, swinging with a Voice of Victory, and duplicating the trigger with you and you. It's more damage to use the Arena of Glory, but I don't want to cut myself off from any mana. Pew pew! Pew pew! Yeah, they'll likely have haste enablers, too, since a Rennie triggers on attack. Oh no! They got rid of Kirol's abilities! I have ways to blink him, though, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm not even sure if I care enough. He really is just adding value over, I don't know, like, doing anything specific on his own. So yeah, Kirol, you're actually fine to just chill here. Ooh, a dragon! Oh, that's one that can only hit non-tokens. And it wasn't a spell cast, that's how it got around Voice of Victory. Unfortunately, now I don't have double white for Parting Gust. Glory Bringer will get to bring glory! And also, if they exert it, bring the hurt! I can bring it back if I get another land. Hey, a land! I only have one guy to bring back, but I want to hit for 6 damage, so I'm going to do this. Sun Titan with haste. Swinging in, bringing back Voice. Yes, please. I don't have, like, a fetch land or anything to bring back. And space bar and bring them to 8 life. Sun Titan can bring back Kirol, which is nice. They only have 5 mana. This is 7. There's no Dark Ritual, but there is Seething Song. Terror of the Peaks! Cost me 3 life if I touch it, right? Worth it. So long! And thanks for all the fish! You can kill my helpful hunter. Davriel Soul Broker. Mono black control. Usually running various ramp, discards, discounts, and ways to go infinite with Davriel, gaining life and drawing cards. I got a Ruby Collector. Skyclave Apparition can hit Davriel. I'm happy with that. You pushed my little Ruby Collector! Aw. You wouldn't push a kitten, though, would you? A sweet little kitty who brought you a feather and drew me a card? Oh, they're ramping. I kind of actually like going Esper Sentinel, Novice Inspector, and Ephemerate up over just Skyclave Apparitioning this. Where's this worse? If they have a board wipe. Where's this better? If they wanted to play Davriel here. Excellent. Now they'll probably do the -2, getting offers and conditions. I got myself a land. I love that. All right, I got the spells cost black less, and just you lose 6 life. A free world map. Thanks, I hate it. I'm attacking him with all 3 of these. And I'm impending. Where's Kirol in all this? Busy. Davriel returns. I get to draw again. And they've already gotten this discount, so let's see what they get on the next one. Their offers and conditions. So one of the ones that they want the most is whenever you draw cards, gain life. It's kind of like shouldered. Yeah, there we go. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life, and they're going to exile 2 cards from their hand. Because they have most likely things like Necropotence or whichever one, Necrodominance. The one that is card draw, they might have both. I don't know. We'll take a land. Swinging this. And leaving myself with a kind of interesting trigger to double here. I'm going to double this trigger. This is the removal of the counter. So next turn, it'll become a creature. Gonna play him again. I didn't get another discount. Meat Hook Massacre 2? The sequel to Meat Hook Massacre? Gonna make me sacrifice 1 creature? Okay. I'm not gonna pay 3 life, it's a token. And then you die. Serah Farron, a Legends commander. Your legendaries will get buffed once she flips over into her crystallized form. And she's going to then make your legends cost less and make them so much stronger. This is probably going to be like a fairly aggressive deck if it's anything like the Serah Farron I had built for Standard Brawl, running lots of cheap, high-power legends. In bad news, if I play my doggy here, it doesn't go. I forgot to fetch on their end step. That's on me. I still want a 3-1 though, so I'm going to bring this out. I can blink it later if I need to. Yeah, me missing out on my surveil. They remembered. What's it gonna be? Thalia? Catilda! She's a human. She would be tappable for mana. I'll play Kirol. Swing in with a Loyal Warhound. I do have a doubleable ability here. It is the Fury. But there's only 1 target for the Fury, so I'm not gonna do that. Vina! Legends entering will draw them cards. I would say that that is something I should probably kill. I can do that with the Carnosaur. It's just a very strong card draw engine, especially in a Legends deck. Oh, there we go. There's a Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. It's one of the Secret Lair arts. She has so many good arts. It's kind of wild, actually, how many good arts she has. I could scam and Restoration Angel. I have doubling available. I'm just going to do this, though, because there's only 4 toughness between them. And Kirol's like, can I double it, please, Mom? And it's like, no. No, you're... There's not enough things for you to kill, Kirol. I know you crave violence. Okay, Fuel Tank Feaster. Not legendary, just good. Yeah, so far, like, our Enter the Battlefields and our, like, channel ability here, they chose to do that trade with the Warhound, though. Unfortunately for them, though, I have a Jolly Balloon Man. And I can double that trigger and then swing in for 6. Because Copying Fury is pretty good. The first, Sliver, which is probably not actually a Slivers deck, because back in the day, when people did run Slivers, it would be too difficult. But if you play it as 5-color good stuff, because it just freely cascades into high-value cards, well, then you get so much value that you just play it like that. Not good enough for slivers. Too good for good stuff. Maybe the other way around. Matchmaking really kind of messed with this commander. A Windswept Heath gets them a 2nd mana, and I feel like they're going to be ramping since 5-mana commander. If they start playing slivers, then they get a thumbs up from me. If they don't play any slivers other than their commander, well, that's a sure sign of a boo. Dog. I'm gonna blank Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I really like the idea of sagas with Kirol, since you can copy the triggered abilities from them. And this one is also extra good because it can be used to clone to get even more triggers. More stuff. Oh, wow. Seeing up planes is kind of unusual. So often they have, what is it, Emergent Ultimatum. So having any land that doesn't tap for Ultimatum mana. A forest, a swamp. Blue, red, white, green, black. Yeah, they could play the first sliver next turn. I will discard Novicean Spectre and Loran, because they haven't played any enchantments or artifacts. I am swinging in here. Not getting any doubles, just blinking Kirol. Because I want this to flip over. I have the Ephemerate to help protect. And we'll see if they cast this, and if they do, what they hit on the cascade. Because it could be a board wipe. That'd be real rough. Oh, Cruelty of Gix. What chapter? Chapter 1, make me discard. Chapter 2, do a tutor. Or Chapter 3, reanimate. They're going straight for the tutor. Oh, and they left. I think they realized that with losing the 3 life, I just have lethal damage, especially with an Arena of Glory and a little bit of haste. Glarb, Calamities, Augur, hopping from the top, casting spells and playing lands from the top of their library. Also, surveilling. I'd say one of the roughest things about playing against Glarb, and this is kind of sad, is that he's a 2/4 with Death Touch. It's really hard to attack through Glarb, because so many cards are just 3/3s, which is ever so slightly too small to get through the Glarb, the garbage. I got myself my Battlefield Forge in play. And my hope is to have some uncounterable cards. Now, I don't even need to use Cavern of Souls, because I have Hexing Swelcher. It might be killed, but then we have Cavern of Souls to help follow up. And they'll take a little damage if they have to do that. I think this game is going to go Swelcher, Spellbinder, or potentially Starfield for a Plains into Spellbinder, just so I'm not paying as much life. Nah, I want that Swelcher. Squelch 'em, lads! Making my spells uncounterable, making my creatures not untouchable, but kind of gross and slimy. Ew. Actually, you're like a pretty goblin. But I guess I shouldn't be touching you. Is there a way to build Glarb around Surveil Tech? Yeah, I've seen Glarb reanimate. So usually Garb is just more in the good stuff vein of, you know, Sultai spells. It's one of those things where if it works, it works. I will actually be naming human here because I have more humans than anything else in this deck. And let me see what you got. Wistfulness, Murderous Cut, Cryptic Command, Necromancy, and Tidebind. So you can see, like, right there, that's all of the things. I'll make the Cryptic Command cost a little more. You hate it all? Oof, yep. I gotta keep an eye on what they put in the graveyard, because Larb can bring them back. Right now, Tidebinder able to shut certain spells down. Because you can still counter abilities. Oh wait, here, let me chalk that in first. There we go. Woo. You can still counter abilities with this. This is just spells can't be countered. But they can counter to the things that I'm trying to trigger. Like this! I said like this! Great! You gotta bring out that Tidebinder? Wanna bind them tides? Yep. So this way there's nothing for me to copy. And I don't get a copy. Swinging for 3 in the air. Yeah, but like getting rid of Kirol's ability is there. Can't resist binding them tides. Yeah, they could have also done the activated ability on Kirol to get rid of his abilities, or their abilities, but they didn't. Hey, bud. I know you got Murderous Cut up. I assume that's what's up. Actually, wait. 1, 3. No, you don't have Murderous Cut up either. Whee! Sadly, that ability is tied to the warp and not the creature itself, so I didn't get to, like, I don't know, keep the 3/2. It could have been cool. Aww. My cool rock. They can reanimate that, but it doesn't get the enter the battlefields again. Are you gonna cut Kirol? You can totally do that. At least it hurts them. Yeah, pay to 2. Yeah, damage. If I had 2 untapped creatures there, I could have actually doubled the ward. Just a fun little trick. Inquisitor Captain, give me card selection. Like? Flage or Sour Realm Warden? The Flage would fill up my graveyard and be pretty sweet over time. Sour Realm Warden, however, taxes them and is annoying. Yoink. This is one of the best blink targets because for some reason, the ability stacks. It really shouldn't stack, but it does stack. They're surveilling some more. Didn't put anything in the graveyard. They like whatever they wanted to draw. Shouldered will draw, or gain them some life and make me lose life. Hmm. 5 mana. I'm gonna bring out a Novice Inspector. It's double encounterable. They're holding on that fetch. Hello! I know. Fetches like to just sit there. I like going for Johnny. I like going for Overlord. If I go for the Johnny, I also get to draw here, which is nice. And I think I'll draw first. Nice. Got a land. Good for next turn. Here comes a Johnny. Nakot Pariah.
Where shall we hunt today?
Awesome. Well, apparently the metagame breakdown is already out for Pro Tour Lorwyn. Cool! Is that this weekend? Is that the one that's like in Richmond? It's like there's no Magicon attached. It's just going to be a Pro Tour. Nice. Yeah, it's this weekend. I'll probably co-stream a bunch of it. I love co-streaming the tournaments. This video will probably come out after that. But if there's ever like a major tournament and I'm not there in person, I try to co-stream them. Pro Tour Richmond. I was in a Pro Tour Richmond once. I flopped and like just kind of went hiking for the rest of the weekend. I would still go to the event every day and like do a couple side events, and then it's like, all right guys, there's this really cool riverbed. I'm gonna go hiking in it. If you go at the bridges at the river, go down and there's this huge park system like at and in the water. It's really good. There's a lot of badger moles. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Badger mole's a really good card. All right, so they have surveilled an Otawara. No huge targets for Necromancy. There aren't even creatures in my graveyard. Cryptic Command. Still getting super taxed. It costs 7 mana because of the Stalwart Realm Warden combined with the Elite Spellbinder. I'll keep swinging it in the air. It seems to be working. Wee! Wee! Yeah, I guess I'll bring out the Shepherd. They could have like a mass bounce next turn. The most damage would be Ruby Collector. But this is the most annoying, so I'm gonna throw it in. Rakshasa's Bargain. Looking at cards, putting them in hand. Bowmasters. I mean, with the Shouldered, if they have a way to make me draw, they can deal a lot of damage. What was that? Oh, Opposition Agent. Nice. Yeah, fun triggers to copy here. Getting stuff out of my deck. Drawing cards. Taxing things. Getting cards out of my deck. Drawing cards. Taxing things. Can you tell what I like? Alright, so they have the Necromancy we know about. They now have enough mana. And because they cast a Rakshas's Bargain for the extra 2, they're no longer taxed on us. So they could say, tap down all my creatures before I go to combat. Tap down all my creatures before I go to combat. And draw a card. That's why I didn't cast anything ahead of time, because then they just would, like, tap that too. And Kirol doesn't like things to be tapped. I can't double things if they're tapped. Yes. Play the big beef! Still uncounterable. Can't counter it. I do like a little stacks. Hexing Squelcher, my beloved. You're a good goblin. I'm so happy you exist. That doesn't work, but I guess you get to draw. Gains you 2 life. Yeah, I wonder if they were setting up to kill me. If they were like, hey, with everything tapped, I swing for 7, 8, 9, and then you lose 2 more. JD's card is the most played in... Oh, from Lore when Eclipsed. Yeah, that makes sense. In Standard, the Superior Spider-Man / Cavero deck really benefits from it because it discards from your hand. Ooh, putting cards in your graveyard. And tutors for a card. Ooh, Cavero. Hi, Tamio. If they draw 3 cards, she flips, and then I'll flip. Ah, dang it, she's flipping. Do you pay the 1? Thank you. So many cards in hand. Shoulder's just like oozing in value right now. She says, oh boy, value. Yum, 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 yum. And I'm just out here like, Tamio, my enemy.
But I'm not so easily defeated. Think before you act.
Kirol's a little pricey here. I could double the dog, though. I could double dog dare them. Can't double Ruin Blaster. If they play like a manland, I might go for that, though. Oh, and they draw an additional 3. They're back above their starting life total. Three mana remain. Swinging in. And a Baleful Strix. Okay, yeah, blocker in the air. That's good for them. They go to combat. Do you choose to attack in? Ooh, they do! If I do that, 1, 2, 3, not enough to kill the Tamio. I'll just take the damage. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Formidable Speaker is JD's card. You've probably seen it if you've watched any of my elf videos, like Morcant or Marilyn. Hey, that's an artifact. Bonk. Hello, yes. These are cards. Destroy that land. On your 2 mana, you got a spell to cast? Bet you do. A Bitter Triumph on the Overlord. They cannot pay for Esper Sentinel, so I guess I get to draw. This hurts me, though. Brings me to 3 life. I'll Surveil. It's actually kind of helpful. You two at Tameo, you two at face. On the ground. There's not too much I'd want to swing with, especially because Tameo will make their powers lower. Yeah, they could potentially kill me through Shouldred. This is not a May ability, by the way. It's a May for them. And I think you guys know I will happily die at the cost of value. Duress. I think you intentionally don't pay it. Darn, and with all my creatures tapped, the only way I could have killed the Shouldred before would have been trading with the Overlord. And with Necromancy, do you grab the Overlord? I was gonna say, I don't think there's anything in their graveyard they would want. And they ponder. Shouldred, honestly, doing a lot in this game. Glarb, sure, he's there. But Shouldred, gaining them the life, draining my life. And at this point, they can just, you know, pass the turn, and I think I'm dead. Let's see. Yeah, should be dead. No, attacking. If they attack it, I'm not dead. So you should totally attack in. I draw. Okay, can you let the game end? It's your go. Can you please let the game end? Sure? I also can draw. Look. Fun, right? Let's see. Anybody here that I can blink? Sadly, too late there. Oh, yes, it is too late on that. Teehee. Oh, other way. I'm still doing it, though. Blinking, stinking. Could blink the Overlord. This doesn't do anything. I have no way to gain the life. Val Marooned Surveyor. Oftentimes played with tons of tutors to get Treylosara in play for infinite damage and infinite life gain. I have a blink, I have a little ramp, I have a reprieve, and a hover ship. Hover ship could be fun. It is kind of hard to blink it at instant speed since you have to crew it and then do it, but it is still possible. And in this deck, I'll say I have very few ways to interrupt Val and her cohort, so I'll just try to play this as fairly as I can. Oh, Solitude. There's actually one of the ways. I do not have an instant speed flicker right now, and they also have a way to give protection. But I'll still probably end up using Solitude because it's going to be one of the few ways to stop the combo. Hi, Val. They still have not changed this card. Wildly enough, they have ramped, but it wasn't land-based ramp. Charming Prince, give me a scry. Huh. I'll take it. In that order. Yeah, I don't want to have to use, like, this removal if I don't have to. Runes! So many runes. Yeah, ideally I want to be using, like, the sorcery speed removal. By the way, there's also, like, cheap reanimation in these colors. Like, you can bring back things that cost 3 mana or 1 mana. Alright, I'll start with the dog. That will put the swords to plowshares away, but I have other swords right here. Swords 2 is equal to swords. Yep, planes. Boop. Not fussing. Not rushing. What color would you like to protect your creatures from? None! Here's Val. Uncounterable. Not that I would have that. And Green Sun Zenith for X equals 2. There's Trelasara. They surveil! Before a trigger can go off from the surveil, we will drop this reprieve. Solitude. Exile Trelasara. Surprise. Yeah, and notably, these are, like, not counterable, because it's, like, on a land. But I've managed to interrupt the combo, which is what I needed to do. Hooray! Hurrah! I've done it! I'm the greatest! Swinging. Get him. This is still, like, it is a good card, even without, like, doing the combo, but everybody's just going to do the combo because that's what's available to them. It's frustrating. Anyway, at least this is now gone forever, and they have to play the deck fairly by surveilling, investigating, scrying, seeking, discovering. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in my, like, in the video where, like, I revealed Val, I called out the infinite combo. I would like to exile Val because they have to take it away from there. Double the trigger, tap these. I will also hit Birds of Paradise. Swing for 3. I'll just play that as a land. Yeah, I mean, you were actively encouraged by, like, the color season to use her as infinite combo. Do like that they got the Fran sleeves, though. What is the infinite combo? The best part about it? Don't worry about it. There's no infinite combo. The Sarima. Tutors for, normally, Trelasara. But she's gone. Is today Thursday? Whoa! That's awesome! You guys know they made Thursdays? Cutezil! My opponent can't cast spells during their turn. Not so fast! I have spells I want to cast during my turn. It lets me double the trigger again because I reset Kirol, doubling the trigger. And also less tappy. Yippee! Exiling things! Ketramos, the new dawn, will be triggering if I exile things or they exile things on their turn. And they don't just exile things from the battlefield, but from the graveyard. And occasionally from your hand, though it doesn't trigger Ketramos. It's just more cards in exile makes Ketramos closer to being able to animate. I have Felia. Felia gets ramp. I have Kirol. I got lots of good stuff. I've got Sunbelover. Ghost Vacuum. They're going to be slurping up things from my graveyard. I'm playing this Mox Amber here to bluff having something with Felia. And I could, I guess, play against Mana Tithe with Cavern of Souls. But I'm not going to bother doing that. It's too much effort. Mr. Bones Wild Ride! He has nothing to exile. But he can block. Behold! A good dog. Ooh. I'm going to destroy the Ghost Vacuum. And I can just blink Emperor of Bones to get the damage in. If I had a 1-mana spell, I would blink this. If they had another, like, thing for me to hit there, I would hit that. Emperor of Bones gonna exile from their graveyard. Ooh, Jewel Mine Overseer. I have 5 mana here. That's enough for Elspeth Conquers Death. I will name Human because that is the predominant creature type in my deck. And this is a doubleable trigger. But I don't have Kirol out. I can actually double any of these 3 triggers, which is so sweet. Felia's coming in, and I don't know. I could blink this again, but there's nothing for it to hit. I could blink the Mox Amber. I'll blink the Mox Amber. If they want to trade with Mr. Bones, they can trade with Mr. Bones. Yeah, make it so the Mox Amber doesn't have anything to spend on spells. I don't have a spell to cast anyway. Don't worry about it. It was a bluff. It was just to put pressure on. An Abstruse Appropriation. That gives them a copy to spell. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. I can retrieve it back into my hand. I would like that. I need to play a legend if I want to hold that up. This is not legendary. This is just here for value, and it has doubleable triggers on it. It's dwarves. You want to cast it, right? Yes. Put it back in my hand. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to exile your Ketramos again. He likes being exiled. He's into it. Beep, boop. Guys, secured. secret dwarf synergy. She's not a dwarf. I always think she is. She just makes dwarves. Okay, yeah, that... It was kind of board wipe or bust for it anyway. So yes, it was board wipe. Is Kirol Sagas any good or just nonsense? It's just more value. You can use Kirol with any kind of trigger. The only kind of trigger I will say you should not really be playing with Kirol are ones that don't have any attachment to creatures at all. This one at least brings them back because you need creatures to tap. Now, it can be like non-creatures that make tokens. That works great. A lot of sagas make tokens. I really love doubling the goblins off of Fable. Fable's the Mirror Breaker. Kirol's super versatile. Yeah, I'm only running 2 sagas. I'm running Elspeth Conquers Death and Fable. Hey, Ketramos. Are we going to be conking and bonking? Okay. X equals 0. There goes the Mox Amber. Ooh, an Inquisitor Captain. If I cast it. Great. I had to double check it wasn't if you cast from hand. I am going to play this instead of going for the Elspeth Conqueror's Death. Let me get silly with it. Sunpearl Kirin and Loran. Neither of these are doing that much here, but I'm going to bring out Sunpearl Kirin and use it to put the Inquisitor Captain back into my hand. So I can cast it again later. Yippee! That Kirol's any triggered ability. So some of the cards that like I did put in that I just don't think I've encountered yet in the video are like Camille and Step Trigger. One of the cards I did not put in, but really wanted to, but I had to talk myself out of it, was Palantir. You know, Orb. It's a trigger! I love Trigger! Trigger strikes joy! Such joy. And I love Orb. They're gonna gain 4 life. Wonder if they have more exiling spells. Probably. Yeah, Ketramos is a silly commander because it just encourages you to play oodles of removal. I think my preferred version of Ketramos was my Ketramos Blink deck. Was it better? Maybe. It was more fun, though. Combustible Gear Hulk? Yeah, you can add Gear Hulks. There's so many good cards. All right, how much mana do I have? All right, you cost 5. Ugh. Well, in that case, I'm gonna hoover up Ketramos because he loves being in exile so much. They're like, they're blinking him in response. But it wasn't on their turn. I'm going to play Inquisitor Captain. Jolly Balloon Man, a 7 dwarves. Jolly Balloon Man lets me clone these things, but only if I had 1 more mana. This just draws me a card. I'm gonna go for Jolly Balloon Man. With the hope that it survives until next turn. This is not copyable, by the way. This used to be copyable, but it was too good of a card. And there was, I think, like a historic or alchemy tournament where they were like, oh god, we've made a horrible mistake. Yeah, man, he's playing balloons. They can use this to exile them. They're going to use him to scry. Scry before the draw. I love those funky little monkeys from Bloons. Pretty sure that means they have another board wipe. But it might be an exiling board wipe, because they also attacked a Ketramos. Oh, Kaya's Wrath. Why not do that first? Hi-ya-ya-ya! Exiles from the graveyard, and eventually blast you based on the number of cards in exile, which is a lot.
No to good riddance to bad rubbish.
Sprop plop. I'm willing to drop the Tajik. Because this is not a May ability. Keep you away from ult.
Usually I'm better at dodging.
Next turn, taxes. The turn after that, reanimation! Which probably won't get to because Kaya will munch these up. Does copying Saga triggers add extra lore counters? No, but you can also copy abilities that would increase the number of lore counters, like a proliferate ability. I don't have that in this deck, but if you were the brave soul to build Kirol sagas, you could. In fact, there is a saga I would say if you're building this for Commander, I would put in. It's Yojimbo? I want to say it's Yojimbo. It's not in Arena, but it's a really, really good saga. Saying Yojimbo's busted indeed. There's just a lot of good cards out there.
I'm not dead yet. Try harder.
Not dead yet. I can give him the fish. Or I could just do it with the hover ship. This gives them less fish. Yeah, one of the hardest things for building this deck is there's no easy way to search. And, like, you can build it around enter the battlefield ability, sure. But if you're building around anything else other than just enter the battlefield abilities, you have to look at whens and ifs and as and at the beginning of blank, do blank. They're all triggered abilities. Oh, they got this Psalm Simulacrum art.
Bags and hit the road.
Does give me something to reanimate. But I can also just play it. So I think I should just play it. Yep. Interrupt the cloud shift. The hunky sad robot. You like him? 9 mana Ketramos. Doesn't matter. He just keeps fueling himself. He keeps getting more cards. Keeps gaining them life. And also kind of saying, I need you to exile me or I will not stop. Is there Scryfall Regex search for triggered abilities? There might be. Since there's so many different ones. Alright, finally tag at the Kaya.
Beat me this time. Bravo.
Doop doop. I'll do the other one on Solitude. We blink. We want to use that on Solemn Simulacrum. We blink. Use that one on Ketramos. Great! But look at all those 6 cards in hand. Remember, I have been board wiped. Twice, in fact. Kirol, you're doing great. Oh, there's another board wipe. All 3 of these die. I could animate this and it would live, but like, there's not really a reason to do that. Poor Kirol. Dead. What are those sounds? Oh, kitten! Oh, they do have some Catch Most Blink stuff in there. I love kitten. They're gonna blink the kitten. Nice. There's weird sounds coming from my window. What is it? Oh. It's the birds being like, where's the food? Why is there snow here? Yeah, I'm gonna play that. I don't have 2 creatures, so even if I go for the Surveillant, I can't double it. You could probably craft. You got an artifact? No, just Big Kaya.
You want a job done right. Hire.
My hover ship, no! My poor, poor hover ship. I have the Eye Tyrant. That's going to be some good damage. And it's going to exile another card from my graveyard. Bye, Solitude. I'll surveil. I'll take it. And grab the Arid Mesa back. Grab something else, too, if I had something to double. But I don't. Yeah, because I can't double it, like, with this still here. I can't, like, bring back the Arid Mesa twice. Ooh, what do you have? Hey, Ganjo! Do I risk putting Kirol in the graveyard? I don't think so. I also have enough lands to play him again for 9 mana. 9 mana. All right, Ghost Form on Kitten. So if it dies, it comes back. They get a Spirit. Screaming Nemesis is a triggered ability. Oh, it is? Yeah. You deal damage. You double up whatever it's hitting. And it's something that you can oftentimes trigger on your opponent's turn. Screaming Nemesis, a card you can put in the deck. I catch a mouse. You got another removal spell. Yeah, make me discard. I got nothing. In my deck, I have 6 life left. Hup. I can't do both. Also attack with Sun Titan, but then Sun Titan gets triple blocked. This is one of those things where, well, I know I'm dying anyway. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. a little about it. Ooh, I like that they're attacking for lethal. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I was able to do a lot to stay alive through 2 board wipes, but unfortunately, it was still 2 board wipes, and it takes me out. GG Ketramos. Terra, Magical Adept. This is the 5-color Terra, though she's just Gruul on the front. Milling and bringing back enchantments. I only have 1 mana here, and while I could totally draw more lands, I don't know if I want to risk it, but these two go so well together. I don't think I can do it. So I'll throw that back, and this is a bit of a slow hand. It does have some great stuff. It could potentially shut off some of the things they're doing. I'll keep this, and I'm gonna hope that I get the 3 mana. That helps a lot. Can get to the Recruiter of the Guard and use Recruiter of the Guard and Elish Norn to keep our opponent in check. Now, there are infinite combos with this Terra, which is tough because if they manage to do that by making a non-legendary copy of the backside of the card, it's not going to be something I can really stop. There's even a saga which you can use to do that. I think it's called the Apprentices something. Terra, get back. Nice! Ooh, Flage lets me shut off some of their mana. Yay! Taste of my Flage. Pam. Thank you, Lightning Helix. Oop, that was me binging bonging. The Apprentice's Folly. Yeah, it's like Johan's card. I don't really have to worry too much about counterspells. Like, they may have them because they are 5 colors. And it depends on if they're, like, built purely around protecting and activating this, or if they're just, like, a reanimation Terra. I have, by the way, seen this Terra as purely reanimation, just using the front side to put things in the graveyard. Recruiter of the God. Get me Solitude, surprising absolutely nobody. And rather than hold the Cloud Shift, I'm gonna play Veteran Survivor. Little graveyard hate. Here's Terra. Okay, I think that they might not be full-on enchantments. They have some, but I see a Psychic Frog. I think they're reanimation. At least Awaken the Honored Dead doesn't come out. Doesn't get stopped by Elish Norn, though, which is tough. How would I adjust this Kirol deck for a paper commander environment? I'm not sure, because there are probably some cards that are just not in Arena. Oh, there goes Cloud Shift. Like other commander products. You could also build this deck around one of the other, like, potential themes. I guess I could go for Giant. I could go for Vampire. I could go for Human. Human, exiles Human. Yeah, you can make Kirol have sub-themes. I think that casting from exile is probably the most fun sub-theme for paper. Life gain works, but it's probably not that interesting. Yeah, you might just prioritize things that hit each opponent rather than things like Elite Spellbinder. Kirol tokens also works. Yeah, you can use lots of token doublers and, like, double the token production trigger. Elish Norn, protect me. Protect me from their enter the battlefield effects. Yeah, like that one. Like this one. That's a great enchantment that works well for reanimation. Double the Ocelot Pride trigger. I actually thought about having Ocelot Pride in this deck. I have Guide of Souls in just because good triggers. And I was just like, I just don't quite have enough life gain for it. Ooh, okay, this is cute. So Flage does not get sacrificed because of Elish Norn. It also does not get the Enter the Battlefield Bolt. Yes! Well, at least she's not doing anything. So what's up, big girls? I will gain you that life right back, exiling Atraxa and Flage. Elish Norn stops all Enter the Battlefield triggers, including ones like on Escape, these escape creatures on the Titans. Sacrifice it unless it escapes. That is part of its Enter the Battlefield abilities. Who else are you grabbing? What's up, big girls? Bye, big girls. Overlord won't trigger on entering, but it's still a nice, big, chunky creature. Shout out Elish Norn for causing problems. They got more reanimation right there. Just nothing really to reanimate. Oh. Yeah, that's something to reanimate. I have Veteran Survivor. I can grab a Sun Titan. So instead, I'm going to go for Kirol. And then I will Dedicated Dollmaker, exiling my own, this, and exile all their creatures. Take them out. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars, and thank you, Kirol, for having triggered abilities. Some of these triggered abilities are really good. Some of them are whatever, but it doesn't matter because we got to double them, which makes it even better. I think that Kirol did fairly well. It is a Boros Blink deck, so similar to my last Boros Blink deck, you know, it's doing pretty well. I think that some of my favorite cards in this are the ones that aren't Blink, though. Being able to double up Saga triggers is one of those, like, sweet, that's awesome. And somebody's honking outside. Whatever. Somebody in chat even mentioned, like, you could put in Screaming Nemesis. You could. You should. It sounds like an awesome deck that you can tweak in so many different ways. I would say the only thing about this deck that is kind of tough is that most of the things that aren't just triggering, like, on Enter the Battlefield, so like the things that trigger like on attack and everything else, they start at 3 mana, which means it can be kind of hard to figure out when to play Kirol themselves. But it doesn't matter because you get to do more stuff. And if you don't have a chance to play Kirol, that's great. You can just get the Enter the Battlefield or whatever value of the things, and Kirol can come out later and get you more value later. Sometimes you just need a 3 mana 3/3 too. 3 mana 3/3s are good because they can, I don't know, trade into Proft. I'll take it. If you're looking for my deck list, you can find it in the description of the video. And if you would like to suggest a commander, especially one from Lorwyn Eclipsed or one that's being updated with the cards from that set, please let me know. We also have only about a month until Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comes out, so keep those rares in mind because there's a lot of legends and some of them seem like they'd be cool commanders for Brawl. A lot of them don't, but some of them definitely do. Thank you so much for watching and have a brawlful day.